Here's another event. All the senators and the congressmen are out. The senators are out on their Christmas break. It goes right through the Congress, goes right through the Senate, goes up to Wilson's desk. He signs it with a little bit of fanfare, and then people go, wait a second, what just happened there? Because what it had involved in it is in our next slide, is the IRS. It put in the IRS. See, the definition of corruption is illegal behavior by officials and a departure from the original text. What text will we be talking about? Constitution. That's the text that we need to follow with. And in the Constitution, it actually clearly states no taxation without fair representation. That's exactly what we fought over in 1775 in the Boston Tea Party. They were throwing over the tea because we had to pay the tax on it, and that was the only thing that we could drink. So they said, well, just chuck it over the side. The reality is compound interest is illegal inside of the Constitution. We'll get into that a little bit more as we go along. But I want you to look at the right side of the screen here and talk about the strong arm tactics of the IRS. And by the way, the IRS came in exact same time frame as the Fed. It was a part of this thing, so it could take a part of people. And we'll talk about this as we go along here, as we'll keep pushing this kind of point in here. But why does the government cover up the $300 billion of interest that happens in national debt for a for-profit company, privately controlled business, deceptively named the Federal Reserve, which is just as federal as Federal Express, a company which refuses to reveal the names of its owner, although the Constitution clearly states that only Congress may make the money for the people without a middleman, which they're not supposed to charge as interest upon the money, but they do every single day. This is why they do this. They're trying to push their concept. So I want you to see over here for a second. This is how it works. So you come over here on this side and you pay your, let's say, $10,000 of IRS taxation. Most people believe that it comes and pays for the schools, nope. The roads, nope. And then ... I mean, they just come up with other things that they do. There's none of those things happening within the IRS taxation. It firstly goes to the IRS. Now, then they take their cut out of it to get their money. The next level, just to make it sort of legal, puts it out to the Treasury Department. Treasury Department. And in the Treasury Department, they take their cut out of it too. Then we come over here to the Fed. Now here's the important step, because there are two major steps involved with the Fed. So the first step is that they're going to take 6% of the total and pay it to the people on the board. They get 6% of the total. Now, what is that total? It's normally about $3.3 trillion. And they just get to pocket that money. But then they do something even more fun. Then they're going to pay down the national debt. So they're really only going to be making interest payments. They're not paying anything else. They're not able to pay anything else because they can't possibly come up with a way to pay for this stuff, because the national debt is sitting in the range at this point in time. This is in April of 2022, $31.5 trillion. They're way underneath the ability to pay for this stuff. They're not even close. And this is how they take from you. Then they send out their request out to the U.S. Mint. Okay? And here's the thing. They take $6 trillion to make more physical money and $25 trillion to make out some digital money. And this is one of the things you're going to find out here in a second. This is the sickness of the system. Then they put it out through the economy, and they tell you about the fiat currency, that it only works because of the confidence of the system. Now here's the part of the problem you're not tracking along with as you go. And we will keep pushing these little concepts as we talk about them. But the reality is, from 1913 all the way up to 2020, this is going to freak you out when you realize this, of the digital and the physical assets that were ever created by the banking system, only 20% of the total that has ever been made has come through this time frame. But why is it from 2020 to 2022, we have 80% of every digital physical dollar that was ever created was done in this time frame. See, this is a level of hyperinflation, and this is a hyperinflation to beat the band. Now, we're going to show you some more points about the hyperinflation that is not as bad as you think it is. It's actually worse and better in the ways that we'll put it. So we'll explain that as we go along. But that's a key point, that component that you have to catch. Okay?